boost your motivation, that will boost your confidence, and that's how you can make money. Have you guys heard about Business Development Bank of Canada? How many of you heard about that? Okay, probably you're business owners, so you've heard about that. For those who are not business owners, you have to become a business owner. And treat your real estate business, if that's your business you choose to be in, like a business. Not just I have a property here and properties there. No, you have expenses, you have income, revenue, cash flow. Tenants is your client, so you have to make sure you're treating them very well. Because on average, this client paying you $20,000 per year in gross rent income. That's humongous. Comparing that the average salary in Canada is about $45,000. Did you know that? So, and people say, well, I only have 1 or 2 properties. Really? You're making more money than average Canadian. So you have to be proud of it. So BDC can offer you between $50,000 to $100,000 if you've been in the business for 6 to 12 months. And if you're not in the business, you should go and incorporate yourself and put all your rental properties into corporation and start making business on the side. Like if you're doing this as a sole proprietor, you should consider yourself, talk to your accountant, lawyers, whoever you want to talk to, wife, husband, friend, but get a qualified advice. Qualified advice is key. Just don't get it from me, just go and check it out. So BDC offering you, up to $100,000. And I just got that recently, and I was shocked how fast it is, how easy it is. And well, probably I might have a good credit, maybe I make a good income for them. I paid $50,000 back within about 2 months. So I used money, I turn it back because 9%, I don't want to pay you 9%. That's a lot of money, And I just kind of pay them back. Yesterday, they offered me $50,000 more, $57,000 more, because I paid down my loan. They offered me more money. Whoa, that's nuts. Now, on Monday, I'll go back to them and say, let's renegotiate interest rate. I might take you $100,000 back, but I need a cheaper interest rate. So that's how I build relationship with them, and that's how I play with them to make sure I can get more credit in the future. Because I like using opium. Not just opium like you, everybody kind of thinking firstly, because all this cannabis stores here open now because it's legal. But opium is like other people money, right? So that's huge. Have you heard about ATB Financial? How many of you? Okay, yeah, half of the room. Great. Do you know that they are great for the startups and business owners? ATB is actually a fantastic bank. I get my coaching student $200,000 for his 2 companies, using the line of credit, about like 7% rate. When you know how banks work and how they operate, you go to the branch manager, and the branch manager can approve you up to $250,000 on the spot. So you don't need to go somewhere up, higher, lower, on the floors to just call people and say, can I approve these people? $100,000 is easy to get. Of course, there is all this caveat, like if you have a good credit, if you have a corporation, if you have your debt income ratios. But you need to plan if you want to get free money. But this is not free already. You're paying 7, 8. I was paying BDC almost 9-something%. So that's not free. 3% is free, but this is not free. What's Scotiabank saying? You are richer than you think. It is humongous. Like, I'm so enjoying that because it is true. People just don't think that way. And Scotiabank telling you, and every time you drive, they have the banners, you're richer than you think. Remember that you are richer than you think.
I have a quick question
about
this. So, when they pull credit, are they pulling it like when you apply for credit, or do they pull it on closing? For example, what if I went to both at the same time and requested those unsecured lines of credit? They're going to pull credit at that time. So I'm going to say, oh, I'm shopping around, but really my hope is to get money from both of them at the same time. So is that like, do they just pull credit at the beginning, or do they also pull it at the end to say, because what if they're not closing on the same date?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And you have to be careful with that, right? Because when you apply, you have to be with your honest dealings with the bank. You should not kind of do something kind of uncommon, I would say, because you can get once or twice away from that, but they're not, stupid either. They know what kind of transactions you're doing. And next time you come back, you already have 2 loans. But you can do that. like nothing's stopping you. You're not regulated. I should not tell you that because I have a license, and you people as well on the video camera here. But you as an investor, right? Like if you're looking to use opium, not on Friday, like I said, but using other people's money, and banks consider other people that you don't have a direct relationship, right? So you can use that. I also offer for my coaching students, I offer this for free, but for the small fee, I offer business owners opportunity to analyze, submit, prepare, and might be build them up within 6, 12, 18 months, depends on your credit, because your credit might be damaged for these products. And for the fee, you can get this money easily. Do not borrow money to invest. And you people on the video, do not borrow money to invest. It is risky. It is very risky. I do not encourage people to borrow money to invest. I'm doing it myself. Mortgage brokers know how to play the game. They do it themselves. But if you are not educated enough, or if you're not comfortable with it, do not borrow money to invest. I don't promote that. Like if you have millions of dollars in mortgages and you cannot sleep well at night, or might be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and you just cannot sleep at night, do not borrow. But if you don't have money, like I did not have money when I came to Canada, so I have to educate myself and do that, and I have parents, friends, and inner circle in a city, so I can go and easily rely to this. So I have to create my own bank, and you should too as well. What's Scotiabank saying here? You are richer than you think. Yes. So for you guys, I'm just wondering, because everybody, okay, that's good, in theory it's very good, but it's not in theory, it's just real stuff. You just need to be prepared for that. Like if you're a business owner and you write everything off, depends on what kind of expenses you're writing off, you might need to talk to your accountant for the next fiscal year that you're doing, so you can readjust it if you need, if you want to have some cash, ready for you. For my coaching students, I'm doing I can show easily 100 ways to make money right now, from starting a business, adding a new business, buying a business for people who just sold it and might want to get into this. But buying a business is very hard because people when selling the business, they want to get out, and they might not tell you what the problems in the business. You just need to figure out on your own. It's like surprise for you. Here you bought the business. Whoo! Now it's your turn to kind of have all these headaches and hassles, etc. So I will share with you tonight only 2 ways how you can make money. First of all, we pay referral fees. I say it again. We are paid generous referral fees. You know somebody who needs to borrow money or who is an investor? But it's not applicable, like if you meet you guys here and you want to invest and you know the person and you just kind of connect these people, so it's not going to work this way. But if you know somebody who wants to invest, or you know somebody who wants to borrow money, send it our way. And everybody has my business card. Can I see? So everybody has my business card? Yeah. Awesome. So you know where to send it, right? So you pay referral fees. And now I will share with you a little bit about Best Capital and what we're doing here. And actually, Best Capital Bond, we just created this recently when I realized that there is so much potential, and when I realized that I've been in the business for so long, that there is so much work required with any business, real estate, or like if you have engineering firm, consultant business, or any type of business, there is a lot of work. And we did the statistics studies, and we found out that population of Canada is about 30 million people, and 10 million of those people will be retired baby boomers. So 1/3 of the country already worked enough, and they want right now receive the worry-free fixed income. They don't care about high returns. They don't care about. They're looking for only to preserve capital and get the income paid. That's part of our program, Income for Life. Our team will. Did you pass around the sign-up sheet? Okay, well then you should do it right away then, so people don't forget, right? So if you're interested about kind of have one-on-one consultation, or if you're interested about to have like the group webinar, then we can just do this, so you can learn a little bit about this as well. So when we're doing lending, we lend at a higher interest rate because we are alternative to the banks. If you can't qualify with your bank to get your mortgage, to get your line of credit because your credit is damaged, because you're going through divorce, because you're making so much money, you don't pay CRA $100,000, you know, and CRA is suing you and you need money right now, and none of the banks will deal with you. And we love those people. We love those business owners who are making like a ton of money. They have like huge bills, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 bills. So we provide cash to clear this off, wait for a year, and bring them back to the bank so they can actually get cheaper money. And why there is a market for that? Because people pay on average between 20 to 36% on a credit card debt. That's humongous. Like, that's huge. How many of you actually paid 36% on a credit card? Okay, that you're smart. I paid 75% when I was in Russia. I bought a flashback drive because Russia is not a regulated country. I'm not sure if you know that or not, but it's getting there. But the country is like, you know, a few years behind the developed world. I was paying 75%. I bought about $100 to buy a hard drive, and I paid it in a month. But because I didn't have money, so I have to pay a higher price for this, right? So 75% is quite a lot. So I beat you all here, you know. So I'm not smart, if that way. So when crisis in 2008 hit the economy, banks started tightening the rules. Now it's much harder and harder and harder to get money. Now we was talking about rent-to-owns, how we can get financing on the creative side of things, how we can talk about owner financing, vendor take-back mortgages, and all this. Like Petya mentioned, that we are back in time, and that's amazing. So I missed all of it when I came to Canada in 2010, because I missed, you know, when you buy a house for $1, assume mortgages. I missed all of it, you know. But there is you have to always adopt new things, and that's what you should do as well. So why there is a market? Because I told you, like CRA, divorce, death, all of that, as well as paying high interest credit card debt. That's what we consolidate people with. We mitigate our risk by very kind of specific and certain criteria. We have very strict underwriting policy. We want to make sure that people has a house, number one, and they can make money, number two. That's enough for us. However, it seems very simple, but we do the background check on the back end to make sure affordability is there, property is marketable, property can be liquidated in case of foreclosure happens, so we can liquidate them. Our offering sets for 85% loan to value. However, I lend myself my personal money up to 90%, and I went up to fixed position mortgage as well. So I understand the risk. I understand returns, because that will be very expensive, you know, if you kind of thinking just to borrow this kind of money. But in our bond, we have a caution of at least 15%, which will be enough for us if we need to liquidate the property. We pay foreclosure cost between 5 to 10 grand, depends on where you kind of finish your foreclosure action. It doesn't matter if we have first position, second position, third position mortgage, as long as there is equity in it, as long as we prepare to kind of take property over, we can do that. We also do 1 year mortgage. Yeah, sure.
On the foreclosure thing, you mentioned earlier that you would land up with a property, like you personally owning it. I thought, and just correct me, I thought in Canada you kind of go through the process of it has to be marketed at market value with a realtor, and you have to work with the judge to make sure it's sold, and it doesn't necessarily come back to you personally owning it, but you're kind of supposed to pay market. Like how does it work when you actually foreclose and get a property that you now own, the property that you had previously lent money on?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So about foreclosure process, we can have another hour or so to talk about details, but it's very easy. People miss buying payment, we send them demand letter. Within 10 days, demand letter expired. We start a statement of defense, or statement of claim right away. After that, we wait for 21 days. They have an opportunity to defend themselves or bring some sort of lawyer involved. After that, we go in for the court date, and we apply for redemption order. In Alberta, you can set a redemption order from 1 day, that's what we do it, up to 6 months. During this time, the court gives plaintiff a time, or defendant, plaintiff is who is putting the defendant plenty of time to liquidate the property. If they don't do so, then after 6 months, you have two choices in Alberta. Depends on the equity position in your property. You can actually start doing a judicial sale process, which we don't like, or you can advertise on Kijiji. It used to be in the court. You just kind of put a court paper in the court, or you put an ad in newspaper. That's how you advertise the property, because most of the time there is no offers made on this advertisement. And then when the redemption period is over, you can apply for final order for foreclosure. Then the court gives 30 days to the borrower to vacate the property. If they will not vacate, usually they do, but if they will not, you can write to enforce it through civil enforcement agency, bailiffs. You pay a few $1,000s for bailiff to kick them out from the property, and that's your house. You can do this foreclosure process. The shortest we've done about 3-4 months, and the longest I finished actually recently for about 11 months. That's I've done. So can I take the house back right away? No, I cannot, and I don't want to. I sold my properties because I don't want to own houses. But going back to this question, is it easy? It is easy. Lawyers just make it very complicated to make sure they can charge you $10,000 for that. But the process I just can describe you, on the palm of five fingers here. Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Fantastic. 1 year mortgages. So we do for 1 year. Even our bond subscription for 5 years, because we're looking for investors who are looking for fixed income. They don't want money back and forth. If you kind of in a growth stage, because there is different stages of life. There is a growth stage where you kind of doing deals, you buying properties, and then you kind of got, oh, it's enough. Then there is a stabilization stage where you can adjust tenants, sell your dog's property who doesn't make you any cash flow. You're going through stabilization stage, and then there is a preservation stage. And so it depends what kind of age and your background is in investment game. That's what you can just need to see it, right? For the investors, we have an option if you want to kind of grow your portfolio faster, then you can just do one-on-one mortgages. We use ML for that. And we have our mortgage pro been existing for 20 years. We're doing this all the time. And we help people just to kind of invest money directly. This a bond, it's just fixed income. That's what we are offering. After 1 year, if mortgage property prices fluctuate, we can always pull it out and just do it again. That's how we mitigate the risk. And the last one, we land owner-occupied residential only. Because those people who are, first of all, investor doesn't want to pay us, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, whatever percent you want to charge. If you want to pay, just call me. You have my business cards, right? So we gladly will kind of prepare the mortgage for you. But for residential properties, because it's a homeowner, they pay 36% already. We cut their debt in half. So it's very easy for them to sign up for that. Also, we are proud, and why investor chooses us is because we pay investor first. In other different companies, you generate revenue, then you have expenses, and management expense comes an expense that get paid first. Then you have your admin, your staff, your office, your everything, and whatever is left called net income, and then you distribute this to investors. That's most of the company works. We designed our bond with investor in mind thing. So when you invest into the bond, and bond is a secured instrument, like it's a corporate bond that you secure in, it's actually an unsecured bond, but it's backed by the registered mortgages that the corporation held. So there is an asset behind it. And we pay investors first, and we paid 8% steadily and quarterly. We are eligible for all the registered plans, RRSP that I talked to, RAESP, LIRA, RIF, TFSA. TFSA is huge right now because every year before conservative put the legislation that you can put $10,000, it was $5,000 a year that you can contribute. And most of these people say, well, it's only a small amount. Then it was just kind of playing, buying stocks, buying JC, whatever. Now when you can actually use $70,000 room, you put it in, and then you every year you just add $5,000 a year, and depends what stage of your life. We cover this on our Income for Life program. We explain how you can actually do that and you invest in real estate as well. It's alternative to just kind of buying a property, but you're still secured and you still have ability to kind of touch it, tangible. So I really like it. That's why, as you can see, my business card is tangible. You can actually touch it. No, you can. It's wood. It's real. You know. We also have 5% we held in cash to make sure if something goes wrong, we can actually take care of it. You know, lawyers' fees. You know, paying first mortgages if you're in second position, or paying property taxes, insurance, all this little stuff. Management, like myself and my partner, we have a stake in the property as well. So in case of something happen, investor gets their money first, and then we got their money last. So that's additional security for investor to make sure that we have a stake in the game as well. So we and our money, our friends, family, and my kids' money here, my education funds. And 3% of gross income after we pay investors goes to local charities. So we support Big Brother, Big Sisters. We support entrepreneurs. I am a big supporter of Kiva. How many of you actually heard about Kiva? Kiva.org. Have you heard about it? Few of you. Okay. So Kiva.org is kind of micro-lending platform where you can lend in a developed countries as small as $25, $100. So I have about over 650 loans outstanding in 66 countries to help other people, because $100, you know, back in Russia as well, it's a lot of money. $100 here you can just, you know, spend on gas driving from Calgary to what's called to Red Deer if you have, you know, big truck. But $100 in Philippines, I have majority members there, is spent wisely, you know, just to buy groceries. So I'm a big supporter on that. How it works? Very simple. I just give you a minute, you know, just to read it, so I can drink water a little bit. We lend money to the borrower, so use your own funds. Then you come in, you invest through us. And then when we collect payments from the borrowers on a monthly basis, we adjust, because some people pay on time, some people always late, and we love when people late because we can charge a little bit extra, you know, to make returns for our investors. And then we distribute this to you on a quarterly basis. So basically we lend, you invest, we collect, and you get paid. We have built a key partnership. Have you heard about Olympia Trust Company? Who you knows about? Okay, half of you. Okay, fantastic. So Olympia Trust has a stake in our company as well, allow us to do through their subsidiary company, Target Capital, but the same owners. You know, like I have different companies, but everything goes to Papa. You know, it's Olympia Trust. So they have different divisions. They have ATM division. They have mortgage division, exact market things. They have like it's a huge conglomerate. They've been existing for 20 years plus, and we are partners with them. Mortgage Pro, that's another mortgage company. Like it's our mortgage brokers that we own, and we have investors kind of focused mortgage. So we're focusing on the private mortgages. We also do regular mortgages like bank mortgages, but usually when we do those, we exit our investors out of their mortgage. So we give a mortgage for a year privately, and then within a year or two, we replace their money with the bank's money, because banks much cheaper. Some investors doesn't like to do that, because every year they wait, they make more money and more money and more money. We're looking at the borrowers as well and say, well, it's not fair for the borrower pay, you know, 10, 12, 14, 15 and high percentage for a certain period of time. So we work with them to repair their credit so we can get exit and we can get paid out. So here's our offering. Our minimum is $25,000. It's everything is done through National Instrument 45106. You sign it. It's for friends, family, and accredited investors only at this time. We're also looking to open up for retail investors as well. So you have my business card. You can email us if you're interested, or you just kind of sign up. Tim, did you send the sign-up paper? Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. If you're interested, just put your name on it. So like I said, it's all registered plans eligible, and you can get a fixed rate of return every quarter, like distributed quarterly. That's about it. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks. And actually, I would like to kind of open, you know, Q&A session right now, because you probably kind of got a lot of information, maybe. Who feels overwhelmed a little bit? Okay, fantastic. That was my job, is just to make you overwhelmed. No, I was trying to present this as simple way possible. I do apologize for the grammar It might be not good pictures, but I'm Russian, we can forgive you for that. All right, do you have any questions? So if you are tipsy, you can call us 1-888-393-8881. And if you're twice tipsy, you can call us backwards. I forgot how you call this, but you can read back and forth. Exactly. You have a question?
Yeah. So the underlying security is basically the property itself, but you refer to the bond as unsecured bond. What does that terminology mean when there's a sort of a property kind of and a mortgage securing it? Why is it called unsecured?
That's a fantastic question. Unsecured bonds means that you're not direct owner of the mortgage that you lent it on. You're going through the company. So you lend money to my company, Best Capital Bond, and we're giving you a term sheet and subscription agreement and a bond certificate that allow you to have participate in the pool of mortgages that we do. So you're not directly secured, because if you can do direct mortgages. You can, like, somebody, you just give them money and you put their name on title. That's one way of investing. But with this comes work, right? You need to collect an SF. You need to kind of deal with borrowers. You need to foreclose. Sometimes we do foreclosure every month. We have quite a few files that we are try to do that, and we know the process. Unsecured means that you lend to corporate bond, right? But corporate bond has pool of registered mortgages on title, and we provide this title so you can see where you lend on it. Did I answer your question about unsecured bond?
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic question, actually. Anybody else?
I do have a question. So with this group, a lot of investors, they're often looking for money to invest in real estate, that kind of thing. So if they have money tied up in an RSP, for example, do you offer some additional lending flexibility if they can use their RSP to invest in your bond fund? Is it easier? Can they get a better rate if they then in turn borrow money to invest in a real estate property that they'd like to purchase?
Oh, that's an amazing question. So, and used to be there was two different types of RSP mortgages. First type is arm's length. So you lend to stranger on arm's length. I think that's why they call it arm's length. I'm Russian, I just trying to kind of put the puzzle together. And there was non-arm's length. So non-arm's length mortgages is like you lend to your like family, blood marriage, and all this kind of stuff, like son, daughter, like blood kind of non-arm's length, like very close. Let's put it this way. Exactly. So non-arm's length mortgages, and every company, there is only 3 companies in Canada who actually allow you to do self-directed accounts now. Olympia Trust, Canadian Investment Trust, and Community Trust back in Ontario. There's only 3 companies. TD Waterhouse used to do that, and they kind of shut it down that because they don't like people to make more money than the banks do that, right? So that's why they kind of shut this down. In a non-arm's length mortgages, if you know that you have RSP funds and you want to lend to your son to purchase a house, first of all, you have to be very careful with that because you need to qualify for that. You need to go through CMHC insurance, etc., where you need to qualify for non-arm's length mortgages, and that's why probably most of this didn't kind of fall through. It used to be good when you have like 200,000 and you pay your mortgage off. I suggest people not to do that anyways, because you would rather give money to a stranger and charge them higher interest than you give money to yourself, to a friend, and charge them low interest. And then you go to the bank, and I showed you how you can get and richer. Scotiabank saying, what's Scotiabank saying? You are richer than you think. You need to get access to the cheap money, right? So when people come, so I have $100,000 RSP, or if you bring investor to us, we pay you referral fee, of course, because we like to kind of reward our referral sources. We tell them, what is your goals? What is your why? What is your needs? What you want to accomplish? I said, I have $100,000, but I want to buy a house. I can't use this RSP money. First of all, you should not use this money, right? Because that's for your retirement. You just need to kind of put it somewhere where it's safe and secure. However, we analyze the situation. And if we, of course, because we pay 8% to our investor. If you're willing to pay us higher interest, because we charge, a little bit higher for ourselves, our bond structure that we cannot charge more than 15%. So we want to generate higher returns so we can be able to feed our families as well as to pay a decent return to our investor. If you're willing to pay me 15%, I will give you money all day long. If you're not, well, I will give you money as well, because I have access to other lenders who has much more capital, or they have different structure, or they have, because we are a niche lender. Bond is not designed to borrow money for the investors unless you want to pay high interest. And we've done this in the past. We just lend money to people if they're willing to pay higher. But as an investor, you need to look on your ROI. I would be able to get you cheap money from, might be mortgage investment corporations from $4.99 to $5.99 at 65% loan to value. And I can top up this our second in-house through different sources. We can work away. So going back to your question, if they can do it, yes, they can. But it's not like we kind of doing money flow back to them. So they invest and we just give it to them. You know, that's but you can just look into that. Like, I never thought about that, because bond designed not to lend money to investors unless they want to pay high interest. As an investor, I don't want to pay 50%.
I was just thinking, if you have money in your bond from them, it's an added level of security. Like if you're going to lend some other money, right, to them, that security is there, knowing that you're holding.
I will get you money. I will get you cheaper money. Depends on your credit, income, responsibility, etc. Because I think, like, if you have all the things lined up, if you have good job, good credit, and if you have good job, good credit, what else? Exactly. So then you'll be able to find a solution. And for them, just to borrow money yourself, yeah, you can do that, but I would rather just, it will be a wash in my mind.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
You're saying that you lend your money at 90%. I don't think people actually believe that happens.
Oh, sure. I lend myself. Like, I have a happy loan company, and we lend money like in different ways. This bond is up to 85%, and you have like dirty securities and a term sheet. Bless you, you see it's true. So if you don't believe me, that's true, right? 90% when we lend it, we usually do it with the second mortgage. So usually first mortgage, we get the cheapest money from, there is like 4 types of lenders. A lender, your bank, credit union, and what is called bank, credit union. What other kind of financial institution we have? Yes. All these insurance trust companies, Manulife, one of them. Then they go to B lenders, home trust, Equitable, B2B bank, and those type of people. They just have a different interest rate. Then you go to mix, mortgage investment corporations. They lend money as well, the higher rate. We are D lenders, like we are real private. Nobody knows who is behind the scene. You have investors account, and they lend money to that. Those people want to generate higher returns, and they don't mind to take higher risks, right? With a bond, we want to be more secure because we just don't want to work, Like this a higher risk comes a little bit of hard work, and I am trying to eliminate that. I'm not scared of work because I was working all my life when I was, in university as well, trading cars and doing this. But I found that investors looking for something that's simple, fixed, and secure, so they can preserve the capital. So it depends on if they're in the growth stage, stabilization stage, or preservation stage. I will adjust their kind of investing criteria differently. So if they want a higher return, they don't mind to go to 90%. Sure, we can do that, but you need to understand. Like I lend it because I know I don't mind to own this house. I know how the process works. I will get a redemption order within 1 day, and then I just need to clean out the property. And if I cannot liquidate and sell it, I would keep it. But some of our investors doesn't want to keep it because they went through all the stages that I told you, stage number 1, 2, 3, and then private lending. So depends on what stage you're in. Did that answer your question? Awesome. Anybody else?
So your bond fund, how many properties at a given time, like right now? Or
well, that's a fantastic question. We're very picky on that because we're using our own money. So we don't have too many mortgages. I think like 12 or something that we have right now. And we're just kind of building it up. Our key is just to find the right type of investor who sees the vision, who likes to help people. And this is like, as you can see, it's not for profit because there is two types of income. There is interest income, where you pay the highest taxes, and there is active income, right? When you have a business, your rental business, your consulting business, that you pay the low tax bracket. So our fund is not big, but it's stable. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, that's why I was asking my question, because if one property was to go into foreclosure
Yeah,
and
that's why
you're
we
invested
decide.
in this bond fund, your money's spread out basically over like 5
Yes.
different properties.
Yes. And that's what we like to do. We like to do small amounts, $100,000 each, to make sure that if one goes sideways, we're okay with that. That's why we pay in quarterly, because if something happened, we still be able to pay it. That's why we have cash reserve fund as well, to make sure that if something happened, we just kind of still use money and we keep lending. The key in this game, just keep lending. Keep lending. Keep lending. Through our direct investing, we manage over 200 files that we have across country, or we have investors in different provinces. So we manage those directly. This is what we just found the niche, because people say, I'm tired of direct investing. Because a few of you said that they like lending money, but probably how many actually who lend money went for a foreclosure process? Okay, one. How was your experience?
Easy. Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Some people are scared. Those people will convert into a fixed income stream. Some people who are not scared, because they have tools, they have teams, they have patience, and they have drive. They go, they spruce it up the property, and they sell it later on, or they just keep it. It depends on their market conditions.
When you keep it, are you keeping it for the money that was outstanding on it, or at what?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Let's say you lend $50,000 as a second mortgage. Like that's what you're asking, right? So you lend this money, you're in the second position. When foreclosure comes, and that's what actually Danielle asked me before, because there is a rumors in the streets that you can't foreclose and take ownership of the property because first mortgage and first position. This is true. However, you need to take control of the property. And it doesn't matter if the former borrowers pays first mortgage or you pay first mortgage on their behalf. They don't care as long as they get paid. So they don't have legal grounds to start foreclosure process unless their mortgage comes to maturity. So I did foreclosure in Edmonton, and I was paying service, $730 every month. They called me, interest rate went up. I sent them a new set of checks. They don't care who pays their mortgage. In the second position, that's why I don't mind to go second, third position, as long as there is enough equity, because I understand the game, right? And plus, for people to get started, I got started when lady came to me. I was in the condo board in one of my properties that I had, and so I want to buy 50 houses, $100 each will give me a nice cash flow, so I don't need to live for the rest of my life, That's how I was thinking back then. And now kind of $5,000 kind of doesn't get really excited, because it doesn't even cover household expenses and expenditures. So I found out that people always need money in any economy. And actually in bad economy it's even better, because few people are lending. And like everybody said that the economy is down, but we always see the up in our dealings. Because when the economy is bad, people need money to kind of fix their holes, because they lost a job, they need money for short term. When the economy is good, they buy new trucks. They're doing renovations in the home. They pull in money for investment. They pull in money for going to Disneyland to show people, right? They just don't understand it. Why should you borrow high expensive money to go to Disneyland rather than just try to kind of work it out? That's why I found that when you lend like $50,000 and you have, let's say, a mortgage of $200,000, as long as you keep paying them, in most cases, depends on what stage you got in. If you got in early and you don't break relationship with a banker, and if there is a lawyer gets involved, because lawyers want to get paid, they will advise their client not to take money from you. That's why you have to have your own good lawyer, so they can talk between each other and say, well, we understand that. We will pay your fees, so you can go off completely, and we will keep paying first mortgage, if that's the case. Or if you're in a position to pay the first mortgage, if you have extra $200,000, just pay this first mortgage off. I don't really kind of recommend to do people like that, because I would rather do another 4 mortgages for $50,000 than paying first mortgage itself. It's all about your risk tolerance. It's all about your comfort level. It's all about how you want to do that, because you kind of locking up this money. If you have like a ton of money, first of all, call me, and then you can just allocate properly. But if you're in the position that you have a first mortgage, I would just kind of keep paying it. That's what I'm doing. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and how we foreclosing, and then it's up to investor what they want to do. Did I answer the question about that?
No, I'm still puzzled if it's a $500,000 home and you've got $50,000 into it. When everything wraps up at the end of the foreclosure process, what price do you now own the home at?
Fantastic. No. Sorry. I went kind of sideways a little bit of that. So you have a $500,000 mortgage. How much equity you have?
Let's say 100,000.
Then you'll never foreclose on this house. It will be sold out. You get paid out. You get all your cash out. You pay the lawyers. Everybody's happy. When economy tanks, like what happened right now, then you had 100,000 last year or 2 years before, and now it's only $20,000. In this case, you go with conservative appraisal for the court, and you show the judge that there is no equity in the property. That's how you take ownership of the property. If you invest in Victoria, for example, which is huge right now, booming right now, we see that we lend money there easily. Every year, property value goes up, so we know that we never will lose money there. In Alberta, we still lend, because if you want to add this to our portfolio, and it's easily convertible for the rental properties, so it's carry on its own, then we do it. Because when your property was 500, now it's worth 400, and you're at negative position, that's when the court gives you a final order for foreclosure.
At 400,000.
Yeah.
You have to take over the first mortgage.
Yeah, you can
What-
qualify.
What if there was like 20,000 equity in there? Would you have to pay any of it back to the?
If you take final order, that's well. If there is a equity in the property, we do a very conservative appraisal. Lawyer can advise you differently because somewhere like we work with lawyers who say, well, take the property and then deal with it later. You can wait a year, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just did foreclosure in Mahogany in Calgary, and I probably will be losing money if I sell it. But in real estate, you never lose money unless you sell it. So it's my business decision. Do I need to sell it and take 10,000, 20,000 haircut? Or I wait for a year or two and the economy will turn out. And then because there is about 6 exit strategies when you lend money. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
There is 6 different strategies when you lend money. You can actually own a house. You can move into the house. That's what happened with my investor. She was living in Calgary. She got a foreclosure happening in Edmonton, and she was working north of Edmonton in the oil field. So she relocated to her house in Edmonton because she kind of tired of driving. So you can own a house, move into it. You can actually, if you let it on rundown property, but for the land value kind of thing, you can demolish it, build whatever you want, right? So you can get into development stage. If it's good and nice house, you can always sell it. And about 80% of our investors sell it if you can. If you cannot sell, then you can rent it. You can do rent to own. You can owner finance your property. That's your own house. Do whatever you want. So that's why I choose when I can realize these 4 stages of real estate investing cycle kind of thing. Is that well, I've done my best and I can get educate myself, and I just want to move to the most simpler and easier way. Any other questions?
I have one more quick question.
Of course. No,
The interest that you're paying out quarterly, does it get reinvested into the bond?
that's
secured, right?
That's a fantastic question. And that's what we get in some investors right now. This bond was designed for people who want a fixed income to live off. If you choose to reinvest, our first investment, 25,000. Second time, if you want to kind of put it back, it's 5,000. And the reason why we did that, so you can reinvest it to FSA money. You can do it so it will not be automatically reinvested. You pay your distribution. You choose, you want to spend it or you want to reinvest it. Depends on what stage you are. If you're in a growth stage or stabilization stage or preservation stage, you choose what will be for you, the best way for you. Did you answer the question?
So it can just get reinvested.
Yeah, you're just going to keep putting it back.
Okay.
Anything else?
We should actually wrap it up, sorry.
Oh, fantastic,
If you
yeah.
have any more Q&A, you can, come see a mapper there. We have a few minutes left to go over a few other things. But other than that, I want to thank you.
Oh, fantastic.
And,
Thank you so much.
Give Konstantin a hand. We'll hang out for a bit and we can ask some more questions and we'll do a few more things so people can go on with their Saturday. Let's switch it up here. Okay. So just for those of you that are newer here, we do have a record of presenters from the past and hopefully some newer ones in the future here. Here is Randy Beck. He used to be a RAIN member. He's an investor too. Stephen Arnio is here. Russell Westcott, known as a JV Deadeye. He does a lot of coaching as well. John Simcoe, that's actually an older picture of him, but he specializes in RSPs, like rental RSPs as well. Ross Lytle, he's a coach. He does a wide array of investment coaching, and business. Danelle works with the Place to Mortgage as a mortgage broker. She presented as well. Dave DeBoe will be coming in January, I believe, to present. He's also a coach. I highly recommend working with a coach to expedite your process. So that what they do really help with when it comes to like mitigating risk, educating you, getting you on a running faster, sooner, and saving you money up front than losing it on the back end. I've had a number of coaches myself, and they've saved me a lot of hassles when it comes to advising. Just some pictures from the past year. Date to note, December 15th. I did have it as the 14th, but I forgot that's my mom's birthday. And maybe Sunday works better for more people than a Saturday evening, so I'm going to plan it for that date. Cash flow is a really great game to kind of reset your mindset when it comes to thinking about how you think about money, how you play with money, and you're not actually risking anything, but you can take risk with this game and not lose anything, but it really gets you in depth with how you can really manipulate and use money to make it work to your advantage when it comes to working deals. Here's other dates here. Next month we have Doug Myers. He's actually with RAIN. He's a RAIN member. He is actually one of the founders, I believe, of the Legacy Real Estate Investing. And I think Konstantin is a Legacy advisor. I'm a Legacy advisor.
Yeah, I have a partner these days.
Yeah, okay. So we have access as real estate investment coaches with Legacy. So he's a coach, very knowledgeable, has his own properties coming next month, so note that date. And then January 18th is Dave DeBoe. He's coming in from Kamloops. So a couple of presenters coming in from out of province, and appreciate your support when it comes to your drop-ins and membership fees and sponsorship fees. If you know any trades that are interested in sponsoring, please let us know that we can bring more reputable presenters, tools, resources to the group. So we have deal presentations, open discussion right now. We have a few minutes for those. I believe Danelle has a couple of deals to present.
Yeah, well, I just have some clients that have some rent-to-own properties, and maybe what I'll do, because I don't have pictures and everything, I'll just put them up on the Caria website for anyone to look at. So if you want to get into real estate in a rent-to-own, or just even have a look at how they can be structured, there's two that I'm advertising or marketing for clients of mine right now, one in Lacombe and one in Red Deer, and both of them you can get in to the property for as little as $5,000 down, and then a portion of your monthly rent goes towards your future purchase. So I work with a lot of investors that do rent-owns, and I pre-qualify clients to make sure that they're going to actually be able to qualify to buy the home at the end of the rent-to-own. And yeah, so I've got two investors that have properties right now that I'll post on the Caria site if anyone's interested.
And definitely post your phone number if you want one.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Rent-to-owns are like lucrative, as in all of them. Any other deals or anything that anyone wants to share?
I've got some clients with RSP money looking to get out of the street. That's 7 mortgages and some for fix and flip. So I've got clients looking for money as well. So about 100 grand in RSPs. Depends on it's first or second, and then value is from 10 to 15, depending on value, risk, and stuff. So I was going to find something for money, so you don't know about lending money, and you don't do it for a or anything like that.
Anyone else?
We actually work with realtors and mortgage brokers as well. So we help them close deals with this private money, and we help them to structure it that if you do financial institution money, cheap money, and use the private secondary source to make sure the deal is closed. So if realtors has a problem qualifying people, so we can probably get short-term 6 to 12 months financing for that. So if you know realtors and mortgage brokers who are can't close the deal, then it's possibility just to work this way. And also I want to mention about the offer that I mentioned in the beginning about my success journal. So those people who are not members of this group, you should definitely get this. So you can get freebies from us, from my success journal, as well as the book from Stefan Arne as well. You just need to sign up.
Sorry, where are you signing up for Success Journal?
You sign up for your Central Border Real Estate
Oh, okay.
Association,
Yeah.
and we give the freebies for you.
Oh, fabulous.
What's Stefan Arne books? You have a read a couple of it.
No, whatever we have.
We've got the two here.
The journal and.
So you pick whatever you need, you want to book for that. So we pay for you, plus we'll ship you a success journal that I got.
Nice. If you sign up as
But
a member
you have
today.
till October 31st with this day.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, that's everything. Unless anyone else has anything else to share, I think we'll wrap it up. And, mingle if you want, stick around. And then we're done. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.